Welcome back to another class of the treasures of Mishnayot. We are continuing today Mashiach Berachot Perek Aleph, Mishnah. This will be part 2 of the Shiur. We did the Mishnah on top in part 1 of the Shiur with a very long introduction. Now we're just going to dive in straight into the Kahati. Maskirin Yitziat Mitzrayim Balilot. We mentioned the coming out of Egypt at night. Kolomer, meaning to say, Omrim Parshat Tzitzit, Gam B'Kriya Shema Shel Aravit. We mentioned the Parsha of Tzitzit, also in Kriya Shema of Aravit. Mipnei sheyesh ba zichirat Yitziat Mitzrayim. Because in Parsha Tzitzit you have the remembering of when we came out of Egypt. U'mitzvah hi lachaskir Yitziat Mitzrayim balayla. It is a mitzvah to mention the coming out of Egypt at night. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azari, Rabbi Elazar the son of Azari said, Hare ani keben shiv'im shana. I'm like a son of a 70-year-old person. The Gemara Misupar, and the Gemara is talked about Al Rabban Gamliel Hanasi, and Rabban Gamliel the president. Shayam Misaer et Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya. He would go ahead and he would pain Rabbi Yeshua the son of Chananya. Ad shepam hichlitu b'nei yeshiva lavir et Rabban Gamliel minisiuto. Until one time the yeshiva boys, the people of the yeshiva, they decided to remove Rabban Gamliel from his presidency. They wanted to overthrow him. They wanted to go ahead and they wanted to appoint in his place Rabbi Elazar, the son of Azariah. Oto hayom, that day, Misupar b'Gemara, Misaper the Gemara continues to speak about Al Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, speaks on Rabbi Elazar, the son of Azariah, Ben Shimona Esrei Shana Haya. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Azariah, was 18 years old. Naselones v'atruhu Shimona Esrei Shurot Shel Sa'arot Seva. A miracle happened to him, and he was crowned with 18 rows of white hair, meaning gray hairs. Why? Kedei shir'eh zaken v'ra'ui lachez hanisiut. In order for him to look like an elderly person, where he's going to be able to go ahead and take the throne of leadership. Zehu shamar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Now we can understand why he said in the Mishnah, when Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said in the Mishnah, Hare ani keben shvi'im shana. I'm like the son of a 70-year-old person. What does that mean? I'm like the son of a 70-year-old person? Because really he was 18 years old. And when they wanted to appoint him to leadership, he looked very young. So who's going to respect a young person? So Hashem made a miracle. They had 18 rows of white hair where it made him look older. So that's what he says. Zehu Shamar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. This is what Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said in the Mishnah. Harani ki ben shana. I'm like a 70-year-old man. Harambam kotev b'pirushal in Mishnah. However, the Rambam has a different explanation in his Mishnah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah haya tza'ir liyamim. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Azariah, was very young. But he would learn a lot. V'lilmod means he would learn a lot of Mishnah. V'lilmod, he would learn a lot of Gemara. Yomam v'layla, he would learn day and night. Ad shetashash kocho, until he basically, his strength weakened. V'nizraka bo seva, and now he became old. The old age was thrown on him. V'chazar kizaken ben shvi'im shana, and he returned like an elderly person to be like a 70-year-old man. V'zehu shama, and this is what he said. Hare ani ki ben shvi'im shana. I am like a 70-year-old person. So we see very clear that there's two regular understandings on how do you understand. The Gemara says that the reason why he had 18 white hairs is because they wanted to appoint him as a leader to take the position from Gamliel, the Nasi. That's what they made him look old. No, the Rambam says no. The Rambam wants to say that what Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is telling us in this Mishnah is the fact that he was very young, but he learned so much Torah day and night, so old age fell on him. And that's why he looked like a 70-year-old man. Continues the Kahat and he says, V'lo zachiti. Now this is still Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah speaking. He's saying, I'm like a 70-year-old man. V'lo zachiti shetamer Yitziat Mitzrayim balilot. I didn't have the merit to be able to go ahead and prove to my colleagues that the coming out of Egypt should be said at night. So the Kahati wants to learn like this. There's a few ways how you could understand the word zachiti. Zachiti literally means merit. But we're going to see over here, Rabotai, there's a few different explanations. Even though I tried and I joined myself with the wise men, lo zachiti, I did not have the merit, leda'at, to know, heichan nirmaz b'torah sheyesh lomar parshat balayla. I didn't know where is it hinted in the Torah that one has to say the parsha of tzitz at night. In order to fulfill the mitzvah of remembering the coming out of Egypt. This Rabbi Elazar ben Azari didn't know where is hinted in the Torah. Harav mi Bartunur, here we go. The Rabbi Harav Wadi mi Bartunur, Mifarish, he wants to explain the word lo zachiti. What does it mean, lo zachiti? Lo nitzachti lehachamim. I wasn't able to win over the chachamim. Koloimer, lo hayu li ra'ayot mishechanoot. I didn't have compelling proofs. V'lo zachiti bivikuchi im hachamim. I did not merit with my debate against the chachamim. Shiti ameritza misam balilot, that the coming out of Egypt should be said at night. Basically, what he's telling us over here is like this. When you look at the word lo zachiti, you can learn it the way we saw it before Rabbi Vadim Bartunur's pshat, that he didn't know where it was actually hinted in the Torah. Another way, according to Rabbi Vadim Bartunur, he was not able to win over the chachamim, meaning to say that he was not able to bring solid proofs to tell them that Yitzid Mitzrayim has to be mentioned at that because they disagreed with him. So, what helped Rabbi Elazar ben Azar, and still we saw it in the previous class, the Chachamim still didn't agree with him. So he says over here, Rabotai, so let's just do it one more time without all these explanations. I wasn't able to win over my colleagues that the Yitzid Mitzrayim should be said at night, until Ben Zoma came and he expounded on the verse. So the Kahat says, until I heard the expounding of what Ben Zoma says on a certain verse. Like it says in the pasuk, Lema'an tiskor et yom setecha me'eretz Mitzrayim kol yimei chayecha. In order for you to remember the day that you came out of the land of Egypt, all the days of your life. V'darash Ben Zoma went ahead and he expounded on the verse. Yimei chayecha, what does it mean, the days of your life? Hayamim means the days. That means you have to say the coming out of Egypt, you have a mitzvah to remember during the day. Kol yimei chayecha, halilot. It's coming to include the nights. Tevat kol, the word all, bal rabot gam et halilot. It's coming to include also the nights. Sha'av belilot tzrichim lahaskir yitzet Mitzrayim. Even at night, a person has an obligation to go ahead and mention the coming out of Egypt. So, after Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah heard this, he was very happy. So if you want to learn according to the first understanding that he wasn't able to find the proof, now he got it. If you want to learn according to the second understanding where he was able to bring them proofs, but still Rabotai, you have to understand the Chachamim were not pleased with this answer. Alright, I jumped a step, but let's just continue over here. Yesh miva'arim. Someone explained, Ben Zoma mifarish kol yimei. Someone explained that Ben Zoma, he goes on the word all the days. He doesn't touch the word chayech. He just says kol yimei. B'muvwan kol yom. It means to say all day. B'muvwan kol hayom kulo v'av halayla bichlalo. When I say kol yimei, the whole day, it's the understanding is the whole day itself, even including the night. That's how I want to learn, and this is Shanot Eliyahu. That's the way you want to learn. From when did Ben Zoma learn out that you also have to go ahead and say the word? We have to go ahead and say the coming out of Egypt. He wanted to learn. It's also going not on the word kol yimei chayecha, even the chayecha. He's just telling you kol yimei. Just learn from that word kol yimei. When it says kol yimei, it's telling you the whole day, including the night. So you don't have to tell me kol yimei chayecha, like we said before, the days of your life, which means the day. Kol yimei chayecha, all days of your life, which means to include the night. No, the Shanot Eliyahu wants to come and tell us kol yimei. That's why he's Dorish. He's only expounding on the words, two words. Kol yimei, all the days. So when you say all the days, it's self-understood. The whole day, including the night. Alright, so one more time, Rabotai. Yesh mevarim, there are those that want to explain. Sheben Zoma mefarish kol yimei, that Ben Zoma there, and he expounded on the word kol yimei, all the days. B'muvwan kol hayom kulo, and understand that is going on the whole day. V'avalala bichlalo, even the night is included. This is Shadot Eliyahu. Now, let's go back to what we asked previously. So even though Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah right now is very happy, very excited that Ben Zoma came out with this drasha, because according to the first understanding, he wasn't able to find a hint in the Torah. According to the second understanding, the way the Rav Avadmi Bartanura says that he was not able to go ahead and win over the Chachamim because he didn't have compelling proofs, and he wasn't able to win them over in the debates. But after Ben Zoma came, you would have thought, good, now everything is kosher. Now maybe the Chachamim are going to go ahead and they're going to give in to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. No, the Kahati continues and says no. What do the Chachamim do? The Chachamim say, why are you learning the pasuk the way you're learning it? Who told you to learn that pasuk that way? So this is what the Chachamim say. The Chachamim again, the Chachamim are disagreeing with even Ben Zoma's understanding. That means if they disagree with Ben Zoma, that means they're not agreeing also with Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. The Chachamim say, Yimei Chayecha Ben Zoma, according to the first understanding. Not according to Shnot Eliyahu that says he only learned it out from Kol Yimei, meaning the whole day and including the night. No. The Chachamim are going back on the original thought, where it says Kol Yimei Chayecha, which means the day, Kol Yimei Chayecha, which meant the night. So come the Chachamim, they're going to learn, no. Yimei Chayecha means one thing, Kol Yimei Chayecha means something else altogether. So therefore the Chachamim will never come, they will never agree with either Ben Zoma or with either Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So one more time. The Chachamim say Yimei Chayecha, they say Ben Zoma. Do you know when it says Yimei Chayecha? How long was it? It means that there is a mitzvah to mention the coming out of Egypt in this world during the day. Kol Yimei Chayecha, but when it says Kol, La'avil Limot Mashiach is coming to include the days of Mashiach. Chachamim dorshim tevat Kol, the Chachamim they learn the word Kol, all, Sheba'al Rabot et Yomot Mashiach. It's coming to include the days of Mashiach. She'av behem yischiru et mitzrayim. Even in those days, in the days of Mashiach, we still have to go ahead and mention the coming out of Egypt. So we see clearly from over here that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, even after he heard the drasha of Ben Zoma, still the Chachamim went and they knocked it out. They argued on Ben Zoma, which in reality really is basically going back on Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that they're not also agreeing with him. Fine. Rabotai, with this we conclude the Mishnah, by the way. Now everything else that I'm about to read is just outside of the Mishnah. Beberaita Hosif, in the Beraita they added, Amar lahem ben Zoma l'Chachamim. Now we're going to see the machloket that Ben Zoma and the Chachamim had. Machloket means argument. So he says, Amar lahem ben Zoma l'Chachamim. Ben Zoma said to the Chachamim, V'chi maskirin yitzam Mitzrayim limod Mashiach. 1 second. Do we mention the coming out of Egypt in the days of Mashiach? V'alo kvar ne'emar, but doesn't already say in Yirmiyah, Perek Chav Gimel, Pasuk Zayin and Chet, Hinei yamim ba'im nu Moshe, Hashem says the days are coming, V'lo yumru od chai Hashem asher hala et bnei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim. And the Jewish people are no longer going to say that the living God that took us out of the land of Egypt. Ki im chai Hashem asher hala, V'asher hivi et zera beit Yisrael me'eretz tzafona, umikol aratzot asher hidachitam sham. Rather, what are the Jewish people going to say? That the living God has took the Jewish people out from the northland and out from all the lands where Hashem had pushed us away there. That's what we're going to say. Basically, what is this pasuk coming to teach us? This pasuk is coming to tell us in Yirmiyah. Yirmiyah is saying that in the days of Mashiach, we're not going to start mentioning that we came out of Egypt. We're not going to remember coming out of Egypt. We're going to start remembering how Hashem took us out of this exile, not the exile out of Egypt. So he's telling Ben Zoma, he's telling the Chacham, he says, I don't understand you. It's a clear Tanakh. Yirmiyah clearly says the Jewish people in the days of Mashiach will no longer mention the coming out of Egypt. But what are they going to start mentioning? They're going to start remembering how they came out of this galus, of this exile. Nah, the Chacham they don't give up, Rabotai. Amru lo, the Chacham said to him, Lo shitaker itzam Mitzrayim imkomo. No, don't do that. Not that the coming out of Egypt should be uprooted from its place, like you, Ben Zoma, want to learn. Koloimer, meaning to say, she'en kavanat hakatuv shelo yaskiru klal yetziat Mitzrayim. That's not the intention of the verse to tell that you shouldn't mention the coming out of Egypt at all. No! Ela, rather, sheteheh shibud malchuyot ikar. Rather, this that we were enslaved to the government, that's going to be the main coming out of Egypt. Meaning that's going to be the main phrase that we're going to use, that we came out of rulership under the government. Koloimer, sheyaschiru bi'ikar et giulat Yisrael mishibud malchuyot. Meaning to say, we're going to remember the main galut we're going to remember is that the galut Israel from the shibud malchuyot, that Hashem took us out from in slavery to the government. Yetziat Mitzrayim tafel lo. But the mentioning of coming out of Egypt is going to be secondary to it. So one more time, Rabotai, I just want to get it one more time. Amrulo, they said to him, Lo shetaker Yetziat Mitzrayim imkomo. No, not that the coming out of Egypt is going to be uprooted from its place. Koloimar, meaning to say, she'en kavanat hakatuv shelo yaskir klal Yetziat Mitzrayim. The intention of the verse is not to tell you that you're never going to mention the coming out of Egypt again in the days of Mashiach. No. Ela, rather, sheteheh ibud malchuyot ikar. Rather, what are we going to start mentioning? We're going to start mentioning this enslavement to the government. That's going to be the main mentioning. Meaning to say, sheyaskiru bi'ikar et giulat Israel mishibud malchuyot. We're going to start mentioning the main giulah, the main redemption that happened to the Jewish people from being enslaved to the Goyish government. Yetziat Mitzrayim tafelo, and Yetziat Mitzrayim is going to be secondary to the shibud galiyot, meaning to the shibud malchuyot. Ki yotzeh bo ata omer. Similarly, you could say like this. Rabotai didn't bring another proof. It says like this: Lo yikra shemcha od Yaakov. The pasuk says clearly in the Torah, your name on Yaakov, your name should no longer be called Yaakov. Ki im Yisrael he shemcha. Only your name is not going to be Israel. In Bereshit Perek Lamed pasuk Yud. So from there we see clearly, Lo sheyaker Yaakov b'mkomo. Not that Yaakov is going to be uprooted from his place. Meaning, you're no longer going to call Yaakov. No, Yaakov is his name. Ele Yisrael ikar v'Yaakov tafelo. Rather, what are we going to learn over here? That really Yisrael is Yaakov's real name, meaning his main name. And Yaakov is secondary to Yisrael. Just like you could understand over here that Yaakov is secondary to Yisrael and Yisrael is primary. So to understand in the days of Mashiach, the Yetziat Mitzrayim is going to be secondary to Shibud Malchuyot. Meaning when we came out of Egypt, that's going to be secondary to when we're going to start mentioning that we were enslaved to the governments. He says this about Amos Brachot of Yudbet Amud Bet, that's page 12, side 2. Mebaraita zo, from this Baraita, Nimtzanu, Limdi, with us learn, She'ikar Machlotam Shel Ben Zoma v'Chachamim. So we see that the main machloket between Ben Zoma and the Chachamim, Im Zichrei Yetziat Mitzrayim nohagit gam b'yimot Mashiach. That their main machloket, what do they argue on? That if you're going to still mention the coming out of Egypt in the days of Mashiach. V'kiven she'sover Ben Zoma, and since Ben Zoma holds she'ein maskirin Yetziat Mitzrayim li'imot Mashiach, Ben Zoma clearly says you don't mention the coming out of Egypt in the days of Mashiach. Like it's implied from the verse in Yirmeh, clearly says you're not going to mention it. That's why he went ahead and he expounded the word Kol Yimei Chayecha Lerabot Halayla. He wanted to learn the word Kol Yimei Chayecha, all the days of your life, to include the nights. V'halacha keben Zoma. The halacha is like Ben Zoma, shemitzvah lechaskir Yetziat Mitzrayim balayla. That the mitzvah is to mention the coming out of Egypt at night. V'lachen, therefore, omrim parshat tzitzit gam b'kri shema shel Arvit. Therefore, we're also going to say the parshat tzitzit in the kri shema of Arvit. Bal Tosefet Yom Tov Kotev, the Tosefet Yom Tov he writes, umipnei parshat tzitzit shigura b'fi kol, since the parsha of tzitzit is very fluent in everybody's mouth, because everybody reads it during the day, because of the mitzvah of tzitzit that's inside parsha tzitzit. Hilchah, therefore he wants to learn the Tosefet Yom Tov wants to learn. Hinihigu likrota balayla. That's the institute that we should recite the Parshat Tzitz at night. Let's say ba chaskarat Mitzrayim balayla, to fulfill our obligation and mention the coming out of Egypt at night. So the seventh Yom Tov wants to learn completely different. He wants to say, no. Do you know why you mention Parshat Tzitz at night? It's because since we say Parshat Tzitz during the day because of the mitzvah of Tzitzit, so since it's fluent in everybody's mouth, so they went and they instituted that it should also be said at night in order to fulfill our obligation to remember the coming out of Egypt. Rabotai, with this we do conclude the Mishnah. So let's just do the Mishnah one more time on top. And with this B'ezrat Hashem, we will do conclude Perek Aleph. Maskirin Yitzam Mitzrayim Balilot. We mentioned the coming out of Egypt at night. Amar Rabbi Azar ben Azariah, Rabbi Azar the son of Azariah says, Hare ani ki ben 70 shana, I am like a 70-year-old man. V'lo zechiti, and I didn't merit, or I didn't win over my colleagues. Sh'ta'amer Yitzam Mitzrayim Balilot. That the coming out of Egypt should be said at night. Ad Sh'darsha ben Zoma, until Ben Zoma came and he expounded. Shenemar, like it says in the Pasuk, in the Devarim, Tetzayin Gimel, Lema'an Tiskor Yom Setechem Eretz Mitzrayim Kol Yimei Chayechem, in order for you to remember the day that you came out of the land of Egypt, all the days of your life, Yimei Chayecha Hayamim, Kol Yimei Chayecha Halelot, V'chacham Yisod, they don't like it. V'chacham Omrim, Yimei Chayecha Ha'olam Hazeh, Kol Yimei Chayecha La'avol Limot HaMashiach. The Chachamim say, no, when it says Kol Yimei Chayecha, is coming to include the days of Mashiach. And with this in the Baraita, that the machloket between Ben Zoma and the Chachamim is, are we going to say the coming out of Egypt even in the days of Mashiach? Chachamim say yes. Ben Zoma says no. For now, Rabotai, halacha is, we are obligated to recite the Parshat Tzitzit even at night because of the obligation to fulfill, which is, we have to remember that we came out of the land of Egypt. Rabotai, you need to understand, why is it so important for us to remember that we came out of Egypt? Why? What's all this balagan? Very simple. Sometimes we as Jews forget why we come over here. So when you say in the morning, you know, Hashem will take Yetchem Eretz Mitzrayim, and then at night, and then at Kiddush, and at Pesach, and all these things, Hashem is reminding you, why did I take you out of the land of Egypt? I took you out so you guys can serve me, and nothing but me. Rabotai, congratulations on finishing Perek Aleph. Really, it's a very big accomplishment. And I want to just show you something. I believe we started maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm not really sure. A week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I'm not keeping count. But just show you something. You do a little bit a day. Look how much you already accomplished. 5 Mishnayot, Perek Aleph is done. And this is how you're going to continue B'ezrat Hashem B'li Neder. Before you know it, you'll be finishing books and so on and so forth. This is how it works. Rabotai, the secret to learning Torah is one word at a time, one line at a time, one page at a time, and this is how you get things done. And not looking ahead and say, whoa, there's a lot more to go. Not like that, Rabotai. In any event, congratulations to all. B'ezrat Hashem B'li Neder. In the following class, we are going to begin Perek Sheni. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen ve'amen.